very much, Dr. Laudy. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a little nervous. I've never been to a college graduation ceremony before, and there's a lot more people here than I was expecting. Good afternoon, class of 2008, and let me just say, congratulations. Now, I know you've heard that umpty billion times already today, and it's probably gotten stale by now, but you really have earned it. There have been early mornings and long nights. There were huge projects and long papers, but you stuck with it, and here you are. You're headed out into the real world now, ready to become real people. And if you're anything like me, that's beginning to overshadow even your most GPA-threatening test as the scariest thing you have ever encountered. From the first time I set foot on this campus for a preview day, I've been hearing the same message delivered by the soft-spoken Southern man that I'm pretty sure also does the voiceovers for Whataburger commercials. What starts here changes the world. When you cross this stage today, it signifies that your starting part is over, and now it's time for us to go out and change the world. Now, I've learned a lot here at UT, and I feel very prepared to go to National Instruments and join the working world. But big-scale worldwide change, that's a completely different story. Thinking about this led me to a lot of hair pulling and not a lot of sleep. But then I remembered that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I'm a firm believer in doing things in baby steps. So I came up with a few steps that I think can allow anyone to change the world. The first step you'll be happy to hear is just about over. In order to change the world, you need a great education, and you've received nothing less here at UT. In your time here, you've managed to sandwich somewhere between BCS standings and your favorite set of beer pong rules a number of facts and figures and formulas. Now, if this comes as a shock to you, I do apologize, but out in the real world, that's what we have Google for. So, why did you give this university years of your life and thousands of dollars of your money? Because every single one of us learned one thing here. That's why you came to UT, and that's why employers and graduate schools have the confidence that you're going to be a valuable addition. You learned how to think. You can finally do what your parents, if they're anything like mine, have been telling you to do for years and use your brain for something besides holding your ears apart. And not only are you now an expert thinker, but you can defend your thoughts and opinions. Both in and out of class, you've been challenged to defend your opinions on almost everything. Austin has no shortage of crazy people on the corner trying to argue with you about everything from Armageddon to government surveillance to the true makeup of the moon. But you're a UT Natural Sciences graduate now. You live and breathe sound reasoning, and because of what you've learned here, you have the ability to defend what you think in a logical manner, even to those crazies who are pretty beyond logic. You can examine situations from multiple angles and form a conclusion based on the information presented to you. Your diploma may be printed with your specific major, but what it signifies is that you now have the ability to think, and that means that you can learn anything. So now that you know how to think, it's time to go out and get some life experience. I have this theory that my little cheering section has probably heard more times than they like to talk about, that everyone lives in their own world. Your world consists of whatever you allow yourself to be exposed to. So your world can be as big or as small as you want it to be. Now, some people do extremely well living in a fairly small world, but you didn't come to UT to keep your world small. Austin allows you to have a variety of experiences, and I hope you've taken advantage of that and continue to if you stay here. But just because your crazy college years are coming to an end doesn't mean you get to start having fewer life experiences. It's time to have more. Travel the world, meet interesting people, do something that scares the crap out of you. Like stand up and talk in front of more people than you can count. Because if Nostradamus and the Aztecs are right, the world's only got 4 years left, so you may as well make those the best 4 years of your life. And, you know, if we manage to make it past 2012, then big change is only going to come from those of us who live in a big world. Now, as you may or may not have discovered yet, graduating and becoming a real person in the real world comes with a lot of decisions to make. They're everywhere, and you just can't avoid them. And because you'll be making all these decisions, you're statistically bound to do something stupid sooner or later. Trust me, I'm a math major, I know my statistics. For instance, maybe, you'll think that all of your years as a science student mean that you don't have to read a book on interviewing to get a job. But it's okay, because doing something stupid is your next step towards changing the world. Now, this doesn't mean you should go run out into traffic just because it's stupid and you really want to get on that change thing. You have to let the stupid come to you. And what it does, because of this wonderful ability to think that you've picked up here at UT, you'll recognize first that you did something stupid, and you'll be able to understand the steps leading up to it, and then how you can avoid doing similar stupid things in the future. Momentary stupidity is key to changing the world because we want to change things that are wrong, and you've got to do something wrong in order to understand how such things happen, and then develop your ideas about how to keep them from happening or change the ones that already have. Otherwise, you run the risk of just replacing one bad thing with another, and that's not the kind of change we're promoting here. So, you've expanded your world and made a bunch of decisions, some of them stupid, some of them not, and you use your ability to think that you picked up here to understand the stupid decisions so you can avoid making similar ones later. The next step towards changing the world is much easier said than done, but it's crucial and it cannot be skipped. You have to let who you are dictate what you do. Don't let what you do dictate who you are. Security is such a huge concern in the world today that people get too wrapped up in covering their own butts to go out and do anything about the rest of the world at large. And while stability is important because you can't change the world if you don't have anything to eat, it's not everything. There are people who have made a pretty good living out of being unstable. We call them celebrities. As long as you're doing what you love, you're going to be successful. You didn't just fall off the turnip truck, you're a thinker. Apply that ability to think to what you love, and the power and influence necessary to go out and change the world are just going to come naturally. But I know it's not easy to know what you should do. Sometimes you're pulled in 1,000 directions. I know I have been. 2 years ago when I started out here, I was 110% positive I was going to grad school to become a neuropsychologist. And now I've got a job in marketing. So I was not the person to go to tell you what to do. So I asked the smartest, most successful person I know. I asked my dad. And he told me that from applying to one undergraduate school to where he is today, he's always done what came easily. Now in this case, easy doesn't imply a lack of effort, or success would be measured in how deep of an impression you've made in your couch. Doing what's easy in order to be successful means doing whatever it is that causes you the least amount of psychological stress. Your brain is wired to adjust your beliefs to your actions if your actions don't line up with them. But that's letting what you do dictate who you are, and you need to let who you are dictate what you do. Sure, medical school, residency, being in the Navy and moving our family all over were very hard for my dad. But it all came easily because at the end of the day, he went to bed knowing there was nothing else in the world he'd rather do. A doctor is just who he was. Now, some people believe in destiny and some don't, and that's fine. But as science students, I think you can agree with me that we have no way of predicting the future with 100% accuracy. We do, however, have the ability to understand the present from every angle, and if you're always doing what feels right in the present, you're going to end up where you need to be, in a position to change the world. Once your ability to think and your experience in the world leads you to a position of success, there's something more you need to do in order to change the world. But I'm not going to tell you what that is. I'm 20. I can't even buy my own beer. And there is no way I can tell you exactly what you have to do to go out and change the world. So head out there into the real world as shiny new real people, armed with the ability to think and make decisions fearlessly. Do what makes you happy and let success come to you. And when you finally do figure out that last step to changing the world, look me up and give me a call just in case I haven't figured it out yet. Thank you.